Hello, how are you? This is Heena from Team Vallath, and welcome to the third lecture in this series of important feminist thinkers for UGC NET. In lecture 1, I have done Mary Wollstonecraft and Virginia Woolf. In lecture 2, I have done Elaine Showalter. And today I'm going to do these two writers, Hélène Cixous, she's called, but I'm going to call her Hélène Cixous, and Toril Moi. So are you ready for today's video based on these two very important writers? If yes, let's start. Look at Cixous on the screen. Of course, she is French. Aged 88, Hélène Cixous was born in the year 1937. She was born in Algeria. Yes, Algeria, which was then a French colony. And she's a very important figure in French feminism. She's actually the holy trinity of French feminist theory. Who are the three pillars of this holy trinity? Tell me. They are Luce Irigaray, Julia Kristeva, and Hélène Cixous. These three actually helped develop French feminist theory in 1970s. Okay, this is actually very important. Talk about the profession of Cixous. She is so important when it comes to French feminism, of course, then post-structuralist feminism and feminist literary theory. Her theories transformed feminist criticism. How? How did it transform? They shifted attention from women as subjects of literature to language itself being patriarchal. According to Cixous, language itself is masculine centered. So a woman needs to focus on her body, body as language, writing your body, Hélène says. Hélène says feminine écriture. All these concepts we'll discuss today. Okay, but before that, major works of Hélène Cixous. Remember these names. The Laugh of the Medusa of 1975, followed by Castration or Decapitation of 1981. Then The Newly Born Woman, again of 1975. Other famous works are Coming to Writing, then The Book of Promethea, then Dead Ends or Inside, then Stigmata or Escaping Text, and then Three Steps on the Ladder of Writing, which was published in 1993. But just look at these works, okay, in passing. These are works that you will see here and there in Match the Following, okay. We will talk about the Laugh of Medusa in detail because that is important. But before that, come to the concept that was given by Cixous. It was called Écriture Féminine. What does that mean? Feminine writing or women-centered writing. Okay, if I give you a very complicated definition of feminine or Écriture Féminine, it is this: a fluid, fragmented, anti-hierarchical mode of textual production that disrupts traditional linear or patriarchal language structures. Okay, itna difficult nahi samjho. Just first, let me tell you the highlights of Écriture Féminine that you'll understand. Then you'll understand it better. See, according to Cixous, women must write their bodies into language. Okay, feminine sexuality and experience must enter writing. Women should reject male literary conventions, and writing should become a form of liberation or freedom for women. And that is why Cixous said, write the body. Write the body under Écriture Féminine is so important. Listen to the line that have been spoken by Hélène. Look on the writing side, that is on the picture side where she's written, quote by Hélène, women must write through their bodies. They must invent the impregnable language that will wreck partitions, classes and rhetorics, regulations and codes. They must submerge, cut through, get beyond the ultimate reverse discourse, including the one that laughs at the very idea of pronouncing the word silence. In one another, we will never be lacking. She says, do not be silent. Invent the impregnable language right through your body. Female sexuality and experience should enter writing. Writing should become a form of liberation. Women should reject male-controlled literary forms. Okay? Right? So nice. So please remember these terms. Écriture féminine or write the body according to Hélène. Very much popularized by Hélène. and now talk about her most influential essay of 1975, which is called The Laugh of the Medusa by Hélène Cixous. In this book or in this essay, Medusa is taken as a symbol. Historically, Medusa is a very terrifying monster who frightens. But according to Helen, Medusa does not frighten. No. She says the Medusa is not deadly. Medusa is beautiful and she's laughing. So for Cixous, Medusa is reinterpreted as female creativity, resistance, and power. Show this power through language. Actually, Helen said these very famous lines. She says, steal the language, like fly. Okay, fly. Steal the language. Don't let it be masculine. Fly. Flying and stealing. These are concepts related with Helen. Okay, come now. Another term that, is connected to Hélène Cixous is called phallogocentrism. It is actually a combination of two words, phallocentrism, which means male-centered power, and logocentrism, which is hierarchy in language. These two terms were connected by Hélène to call phallogocentrism, which she critiqued. She critiqued phallogocentric systems, the systems where language privileges masculine authority. No, Hélène responded saying that use Écriture Féminine to disrupt this patriarchal language. Okay, so you will remember these terms, connect them with Helen, of course. Then binary oppositions. The goal of Helen has been to break hierarchical oppositions. The binary words like male, female, reason and emotion, culture and nature, speech and writing. She said all these binaries, all these terms privilege masculinity and subordinate femininity. So please break these hierarchical oppositions. And as I told you, there are terms that are very much popularized by Helen. These terms are sext, sex and text. Then kiosmos, and then voler is like flying and stealing. Okay, so nice. With this, we're done with Hélène Cixous. Oh yes, her connection with Jacques Derrida has been so long. The two were lifelong friends, and Hélène was an intellectual collaborator of Derrida. Helen's work applies Derrida's concepts of deconstruction and difference directly to gender and patriarchy. So Hélène Cixous was influenced mostly by Jacques Derrida. Easy. Done with Hélène. Now we come to Toril Moi, a Norwegian writer. She's a prominent feminist literary critic, theorist, born in Norway in the year 1953. Toril Moi is aged 72. Okay, she introduced French feminist theory and post-structuralist feminism to the English-speaking world. And currently, she's director, Center for Philosophy, Arts and Literature. She works at she works at Duke University as a distinguished professor. She's a director there. Okay, come now about her most famous book, which is Sexual or Textual Politics, which is a feminist literary theory book. It was published in the year 1985. Toril Moi is called as a bridge figure between Anglo-American feminism and French feminism. Why? Because in this book of hers named Sexual or Textual Politics, Toril Moi has compared Anglo-American feminism and French feminism. Will you remember? Who's compared Anglo-American feminism and French feminism? Who's a bridge between these two? She's Toril Moi. Through which work of hers? Sexual or Textual Politics of 1985. Easy? Very easy. Now, a term that is connected with Toril is anti-essentialism. Before that, you should know what is essentialism. Essentialism is a belief that women share fixed characteristics or they have universal characteristics. Moi says, no, gender is historically constructed, it is socially shaped. Feminism should avoid these rigid definitions of womanhood. Moi supported anti-essentialist feminism. Which feminist theorist supported anti-essentialist feminism? The answer is Toril Moi. And another important works apart from sexual or textual politics are by Toril Moi. Come, let's read through them. First, French Feminist Thought of 1987. Simone de Beauvoir, The Making of an Intellectual Woman of 1994. Then the Christiva Reader. Then What is a Woman of 1999. And her most famous book that received the MLA Award for Comparative Literary Studies is called Henrik Ibsen and the Birth of Modernism of 2006. Which writer wrote Henrik Ibsen and the Birth of Modernism, published in 2006? She is Toril Moi. With this, we are done for the day. This is Heena from Team Vallath. It was so nice being with you. Kindly look at our playlist. We've created the playlist, which is Important Feminist Theories for UGC NET. You'll find all these lectures there. Okay? Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.